Welcome back to the video tutorials on working on websites. Today we're going to talk about images, and this is an overview, not a step-by-step like some of the other videos will be, just an overview about images. So the first thing we want to do is look at what these images we're going to bring in will look like, where we're going to use them. So images being pictures of things you want to put on your website. So here's one way we would do that, and this is our Plant Tour. It's a plugin we're using that is just a sliding carousel type thing, and you click on this. So it's rotating by itself, but if you click on the arrow it will advance or return, and then if you get off of it and leave your mouse off of it, it will continue through the transition from one picture to the next. But we also have in each of the websites galleries, and so here you see this particular website. This is our sample website, but it's got a galleries navigation button that goes nowhere. You have to come to one of these sub navigation buttons. These that don't have the little down arrow do not have sub navigation. If they have a little down arrow, they have sub navigation. So we've got a kitchen albums, bath albums, and commercial albums area. So let's go to the kitchen albums area, and here we see each of the albums, and each one is named appropriately for what type it is. So in our older websites we named them by like the builder, homeowner, neighborhood, lot number, things like that, and that was just meaningless to homeowners looking at these things. So we wanted this to be more about the style, the wood species, and what room it was going in. So this is the kitchen albums, and here's one of the kitchens. If we click on this picture, and we see all of the pictures for this room, and you can see if you float over them, a little magnifying glass pops up telling you that if you click on that, you're going to get a window. And depending on how big the picture is, will depend on how big the window is. And we'll talk about some plugins that help us with the size of the pictures here in a few minutes in this overview. So here we've got a kitchen shot, and if we want to navigate through this, we can navigate forward or backwards. So here we're going forward. We'll go forward a few shots. And if the orientation changes, the light box, this thing that's popped up is called a light box, will actually adapt itself to the orientation of the camera. And then when you're done looking at the individual pictures, you can click out here anywhere or click on the X, and then if you want to go back to the album, click that and it'll take you back to that album, or you could come back up to the navigation and choose kitchen albums again. But each gallery, so the galleries are kitchen, bath, and commercial, and then each gallery contains albums, and we're going to go through in later videos how to do each of these. So again, we can magnify this and look at these images. So that's the end product that we get from all the work we do creating these galleries and albums. And then in preparation to do these things, you've got to do some stuff with pictures. So before I jump into the back end of WordPress and the True32 template, I'm going to bring up this program called Bridge. And Bridge is a free Adobe program, and it may be more than you want to do, but you can see that I've named these pictures something that's fairly abbreviated but meaningful. And so if I right click on this and go to batch rename, so really that's, of all the things this software does, this batch rename is what I use it for the most. And when you bring that up, basically you come in here, you select all your pictures, and then you can come in here and create a naming scheme in just this area right here. Basically, that's all you got to, just pay attention. You're renaming in the same folder. We don't want to go past that, but that's the default. If you just follow all the defaults, it basically is telling you what it's going to do. So I'm saying for this name, I want it to create, and I've created this name right here. So trad for traditional, mbath for master bath, PNT GRD for paint grade, and then paint glaze. So all those are abbreviations. If your image names get too long, you're going to have problems with your website. So you got to be careful. If you can't see the whole name here, you need to figure out a way to shorten it. I mean, it could run a few characters past, but you need to try to keep them as short as possible, because the longer they get, the worse it gets. I could have added each one of these pieces with the underscore as a separate thing, but there was really no point in doing that. But you could do that. Here I am adding a sequence number, and I'm saying I want a 2-digit number to go on the end of this thing. And then right now it's saying the current name of this image is, because I've already named them, ends with 01. But you see here, if I'm getting ready to execute this, it's going to start with 06 because that's what's in here. If I change this to 1, then it changes to 1. So This is overkill for most people, but it does help you with SEO if your picture names have some sort of meaning other than just having numbers. Google will give you the benefit for having named your pictures with something that has some meaning. Now, if this was named traditional master bath paint grade paint glaze, name would be too long and you're going to have problems backing up your website and other issues. Anything that has to be zipped up and extracted would have a problem with that long name. So, but just being named is a benefit. So if you want to take the time to do that, you can, but you don't have to. You can just bring your pictures up. So now let's go to the back end of WordPress, and I'll have videos for how to log in as a user and all of those things. But specifically what we're going to talk about now is what we've done to help make these pictures easier, and I'll go through that step by step later, and what are the parts and pieces that deal with images. So the first thing we want to look at is a plugin, and you don't have to ever look at this thing. It's just here, but I want to show it to you. It's called ShortPixel, and so I've loaded it on every template that I've built for you guys, and I've come in here and answered these questions. So I want all the pictures that you upload, no matter how big that picture is. So if you take a picture with your iPhone, especially the newer generation iPhones or a digital camera, it's huge. And a website can't take advantage of its use. And plus it has all the metadata that comes with the picture, telling what kind of camera was used and what day it was taken on and where you were, the longitude and latitude of where you were when you took the picture. We don't need all that on a website. So here we're going to cut down the size and optimize them with this plugin as you bring them up. You don't even have to know it's working. But this, I found the 1600 by 1600 works fairly well. It can definitely be smaller. The default is like 992 or 924, something like that. But I'm finding with cabinet pictures, I want it to be a little higher or a little crisper picture. And this is the best optimization, so it's going to, the lower quality, here it's going to have the best quality, but I'm finding if I go with 16 by 600 with this best optimization, that the pictures look good. They're not bad, they're not blurry and a mess. So this is just happening in the background. You don't have to know it. When you start, and you can see right now it's working. Right here, this little thing is saying it's looking at some pictures. So ShortPixel is going to do the work for you, automatically optimizing and resizing the pictures as you bring them up into the media library. So that's the next part of this. Here's the media library. This is where all your pictures are stored. And in the media library, you can look at it in two views. So this little view button here is showing us this list view. One little caveat to this is that the default up here is 20 number of items shown. So you're having to navigate through all these pages. I always keep mine set to 50. I don't want to scroll forever, but I do like to be able to work on it, especially if I'm deleting or adding. I want to be able to do something to a bunch of pictures, have 8 pages instead of 20 pages. So you can change that and apply it if you want to scroll longer. And then the other view is the only view you'll see when we start working in these galleries and adding pictures to galleries. This is the only view you'll see. So the pictures are not sorted in any way. You don't have any way to find, you just got to scroll through here and find what you're looking for. But as you add pictures, it always adds them to the top. So if you're adding them as you're going, not like I was as this great big giant bulk of pictures, then they're going to be right here at the top anyway. You're going to be adding them, they're going to be right here, and you're going to select them, add them to the gallery. So, but this is the media library where all of your pictures are stored. And each picture, if you want it to, let me go down and find a picture that I actually have added caption to, and then we can look at the results of having that caption. All right, we're gonna look at this picture right here. And if you look right, it really doesn't matter where you look. Here it is right here, but it can be down at the bottom too if you edit the image. But right here, without actually even going into the edit, I can see that I have a caption. See that? Finish, crystal white, stained glaze. This is the door that's used. If you want to go to this trouble, you can. But it is a lot of trouble because it's per picture. Now you could just do the first picture in each one, and that would be fine too. But let me show you what that does. So if we go back to our library, go to our kitchen album, and go to that album, and go to that picture, and you can see that caption comes up right here at the bottom. And some of the pictures here are captioned, and some aren't. So not. That one's not. That one is. So you can see, and so we also have a little bit about, mention of this Stanisi hood. So you could do one picture and then any special features, but you can caption each picture independently. I have the same caption on every picture in this one, but you could have a different one on the Cherry Island than you have on the painted walls if you wanted to. If you wanted to add what door it was, what finish it was, that kind of information. I don't think that the homeowner's name or builder's name or any of that is relevant to people looking at your website, but it might be relevant to know that this kitchen has a Conestoga CRP 10 10797 applied mold door, and that the finish is crystal white stain with a coffee glaze. That would help them in making their own decisions. So you could do that if you wanted to. Now let's go back to the back end. We've got our library. Now let's look at our Foo Gallery. That's where everything happens. So we have a plugin over here called Foo Gallery. Click on that and this submenu will come underneath so we can get to all these pieces. And then what we have listed here are the galleries that have been created. So this is where the things that are showing up on the website come from. These are just post types, but you don't have to know any of that. This is the part you really need to think about. You want to keep this meaningful and you want to kind of keep them somewhat consistent from one to the next. You don't want to start one with traditional cherry master bath and the next one is a cherry traditional master bath, and try to keep your naming schemes in some sort of logical manner. So what I do is I have created an Airtable base that helps me do this. So I come in here and add everything, like all of my rooms, and basically this is what I answer first, is the information that tells me what they are, because this information is not helpful for me. I know these jobs by the builder's name and the lot number or the builder homeowner kind of thing. So I've got that's first to tell me what it is, and then I can come in here and put all that information if I want to cut and paste it into the caption for the picture. But also, as I'm working adding these galleries, I can check them off. And the one we're going to work on later is this one that's not checked, this Sycamore 6, which will become traditional paint glaze master bath. So I have this Airtable base set up, and you could do this in a spreadsheet too, so that I can think through this name, because I don't want it to get too long, and even these get pretty long. But again, when we're looking at this thing on the website, we see when we're at the albums that if you get these names too long, I'm pretty close here, but you're going to run out of room and they're going to be truncated in some way and not show well. So we want to try to keep them where we can see all of that. What we want to remember about the galleries is don't make this name too long. And here I'll just pop into one so you can see how it works. It's pretty easy. So here's where you would actually create the name when you say you want to add a gallery. This field right here will be here and you type that name in, but you just want to try to keep them as short as you can. I have the default set up so that they all look alike, but you have a lot of options here, what you can do as far as full size, image attachment, all those, then the appearance of what the icon's going to look like, what any of these things are going to be, the theme, the border size, rounded corners, drop shadow. So I have all these preset and have a default set so they'll be the same from album to album to album and from gallery to gallery to gallery. So really all you're going to do is come here, if this one were empty, and I'll show you this in a few minutes step by step. You'll click on this and then it'll take you to your media library and you'll go pick your pictures. If it's not in there yet, you'll have the opportunity to upload them and then bring them in, and again we'll do that step by step. And the only other thing I do here is name it, bring the pictures in, and then come pick one of those pictures as the featured image, and then you're just going to update it and it will create that gallery. And then the second component to the galleries is you got to have a way to display them to choose, and that's the albums. And so here you see those same albums that we saw on the website: commercial, bath, and kitchen. And when we look at these, basically while you're here you see every gallery you've created, but the ones you check are the ones that are going to show in this gallery. So this is commercial albums, so I want my granite tile showroom and my oncology office to show, and I'm going to do this step by step in a later video, and then you just update it and that will start showing up. And then the last part of albums is, for these to show up you actually have to create this page, this kitchen albums page, and so that's going to be another video about how to create the page, and I'm going to recommend you duplicate a page to be able to do that. And once you add a new page, obviously, so up here in the navigation we see we have a kitchen album, a bath album, and a commercial album. Well, if we added a new one that's called other rooms, we've added a page, but we don't have any way to get to it, so we've got to add some navigation. Not hard. Once you've added a new page and you come to the appearance and menus, and again I'll do you a step-by-step video on all of these things. When you come to the menus, any new pages, and will show up right here on this left-hand side. Here's all the pages that are in our current navigation, and all we have to do if there's a new page is check here and say add to menu. And so it's already here, so I don't want to do that. But if I had a new page and I had a menu, it would come down here to the bottom of the list, and then anything you slide around. So if I wanted this contact, instead of being its own page, I want it to be a subpage, I just slide it over. Now it would be on this sub-tab of galleries. Put it back over to the left and it's not. And so that's how you do that. And again, I'll do all this step by step. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for other videos all about images on your True32 website templates.